The words Dead Space Remake already had us so excited that we were getting goosebumps. But it turns out that the new game is much more than just a nice new coat of paint.
Famously, the original Dead Space kept its lead man as something of a blank slate. And despite the fact that you spend the whole game playing as him, you only got to see his face at the very start and the very end of the game. And you never got to hear him speak. Which seems odd, because if it was me who woke up on an abandoned space station filled with hideous monsters, I would definitely be talking, actually probably shouting about it. Anyway, Isaac became a lot more talkative in the sequels, with voice actor Gunnar Wright providing the vocals, and he'll be reprising the role for the new version of Dead Space. But the developers have been quick to assure fans that this won't break the eerie stillness that made the game so effective in the first place. Isaac will only talk when he's interacting with someone like Hammond or Kendra, and he won't just be making wise cracks to himself while trawling through those creepy corridors, no matter what's in front of him. And while he'll be keeping that iconic helmet on most of the time, you will get to gaze upon his gorgeous mug a lot more frequently this time around. Altogether though, it really should make Isaac feel like a much more fully formed character, which is going to make it much harder to watch him getting torn to shreds over and over again.
If you've played through the original Dead Space, then you're probably feeling safe in the knowledge that it won't be able to spring anything on you that you're not prepared for. Perhaps you're even feeling a little smug. But just remember that old saying, pride comes before a horrifying space mutant rips your spine through your nostrils. Because although it will largely stick to the original plot, the new version of Dead Space also promises some new twists and turns to keep returning players on their toes. On top of that, there will also be a bunch of new side missions which come via audio logs and holograms, involving Isaac's precious Nicole and others living on the Ishimura, further fleshing out the game's world and providing it with even more opportunities to scare the heck out of you. And it's not just the story itself that's getting an update, but how it's told. The new version will feature even more environmental storytelling, with messages from the previous inhabitants of the Ishimura found all around it, including one that just says, "all died," which is grim, but also admirably succinct. So whether you think you know Isaac's tale already, or you're coming to it completely fresh, you can expect a rich story experience this time around.
The added graffiti isn't the only thing that's new when it comes to the Ishimura either. In fact, the ship itself has been given a pretty serious upgrade for the remake. For starters, the whole ship is now entirely walkable, allowing you to move seamlessly from one area to another without interruption. Lovely stuff. And you actually get to ride the metro rather than just getting a cutscene. And while that might sound like a minor change, Dead Space is all about that relentlessly tense atmosphere, so keeping things unbroken should help the game feel more immersive. The whispering that audibly stalks you around the ship should also help with that. Dead Space is also going to reward you for stretching your legs as much as possible, with additional items tucked away in the nooks and crannies that only the most intrepid explorers will find. Although it is possible you'll find something a lot less helpful and a lot more bitey, so, watch your step as you have done before. And at the very least, moving through the Ishimura should get a little easier as the game goes on, with security levels that you can unlock to create shortcuts between various sections. They also reward you for revisiting previous areas too, by opening cabinets and lockers you couldn't access before. So going back to old haunts should be particularly fruitful, though it is a spaceship still full of monsters, and so I'll repeat again, watch your step. Now let's hear about how the engine allows for more dismemberment. Lovely.
The most fundamental change that Dead Space has undergone is that every single asset has been rebuilt using EA's Frostbite engine, offering a whole new level of visual detail. And that's never more gruesomely obvious than when Isaac breaks out the old plasma cutter. The dismemberment system that allowed you to blast the limbs off those pesky necromorphs was one of Dead Space's big innovations, and things have gone even more gloriously gory this time around, with your shots visibly ripping layers of flesh away before the full arm, leg, or weird tentacle thing comes off. It makes taking down your enemies so much fun that you'll want as much firepower as possible, so it's a good thing that the weapon upgrade benches from the original are returning. And they now also show you the stats so you can tinker with the same surgical precision that you bring to the battlefield. Some of the weapons have also been tweaked, with the pulse rifle now using a proximity mine as its alt fire setting, the way it did in Dead Space 2, rather than the spinning bullets of the first game. However, far and away the coolest change to Isaac's arsenal comes during the zero gravity zones. While the original game had you merely hitting Y to hop between wall and floor, the remake gives you full control over Isaac as he soars through the air. That's right people, we're going full Iron Man.
When the script, the ship, and the suit are all getting serious upgrades, then it's safe to say that we're dealing with a wholly lot more than just a flashy remaster. This is a full-blown remake of an iconic horror game that should just be as exciting for returning fans as it is for those who are about to decapitate their very first necromorph. Stay tuned for more updates on Dead Space and all other amazing titles on their way to Xbox, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.